Most students don't fail their GCSEs because they're not smart enough. They fail because they start too late. There's a timeline that top students follow, and it's not what schools usually recommend. In this video, I'll be breaking down the GCSE strategy that no one is talking about, but the ones who get top grades always follow it. For those of you who are new to the channel, hi, I'm Varjod. I'm the founder of Mobile Tutors, and every year we help thousands of students increase their GCSE and A-level grades. I scored 98% in most of my GCSE and A-levels, and I hold a first-class degree from the London School of Economics in Business, Maths and Statistics. So let's get into it. I see this every year, students cramming content right into year 11 and doing their final topics just weeks before their real exams. And at this point, it's too late. Want to know the secret to GCSE success? Well, it's all about the timeline. And most students, and even most schools, are following the wrong one. And I'm dead serious here. This is the one thing that will put you ahead of everyone and make sure you come out on top. And I don't want you to think this is just some silly video on something that's completely irrelevant. Just think about this for a second. Most schools finish content in February or March in year 11, and this leaves just 2 months before your real GCSEs to do any past paper practice. And at this point, you're cramming past papers in 2 months and you don't even have enough time to go back and go over any topics that you found difficult. So this is clearly the wrong way to do it. But due to the pressure that your teachers have and the amount of in-class distractions, this means that you finish so late. Now, of course, it's not your teacher or your school's fault, but it is far from ideal. Now, this isn't the case for every school, but majority of schools are following this timeline, and this will mean that you will underperform or fail in your GCSEs. Now, let's discuss what you should do. If you want to get top grades, you should aim to finish all GCSE content by the end of year 10, latest. This means all topics covered and all core knowledge locked in. And I mean latest, ideally even before the end of year 10 if possible. You do not want to go into year 11 in September and still be learning new things. Now why? Well, because year 11 should not be about learning new content. Year 11 should be about doing past papers, identifying your weak areas, fixing your mistakes, and finally perfecting your exam technique. And this is how real progress happens and how you get the best results. Results that will actually be higher than your predicted grades. But the thing is that most students never get to this stage properly because they're in year 11 still trying to learn new content. As I said earlier, most schools will finish content in February or March of year 11. And let's say your school is a little bit ahead and you finish in December or January, this is still not enough time. Now you might think this is just extreme, impossible, or just excessive to finish content this early. So let me break it down. So now, in order to get the best grade for any subject, we should aim to do every single past paper available for that subject so that we can have as much practice as possible, but we can also see every type of question that can come up. Now let's take maths for example. There's 3 papers for maths, paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. And in total, there's roughly around 40 to 45 past papers that you should aim to do before your maths exam. So let's say you did a paper a week. Now this is 1.5 hours to do the paper and then plus all the time it takes to mark it and do the corrections. So let's say roughly another 1.5 hours for that. So in total, to do 1 paper for maths, it will take you around 3 hours. Now, let's say you did 1 maths paper every single week from the beginning of year 11. It will take you 45 weeks to do all of the past papers for just GCSE maths. And what this means is that even if you did start at the beginning of year 11, you still wouldn't even have enough time to do every single maths paper in time for your real exams. And you need to do a paper per week for every single subject that you're studying. So just imagine how many papers that will be. You'll have to do a paper for English, science, maths, along with all of the other subjects you're taking. So there's simply not enough time to do all of the past papers, even if you started at the beginning of year 11. So what this means is that you actually have to learn the content before this. And it gets worse because you want to factor in the time it takes to review all of your mistakes before exam period starts. So ideally, you want to finish papers around 6 weeks before your exams start. So around April time. So this will leave you enough time to go and review all of the papers you've done and fix all of your mistakes and just look over all of the errors you've made so you have a list of all of the common mistakes that you'll be making. So I hope this breakdown makes sense and why it's vital for you to finish all of the content by the end of year 10 in order for you to get the best marks in your GCSEs. Now I know this timeline works because I want to talk from my own experience. When I was doing my GCSEs, I did triple science, and for triple science students, we could do 2 of the sciences 1 year early in year 10. So what this meant was that I did biology and physics in year 10. And not only did I get an A star in both of these GCSEs, I actually got 100 UMS in some of the papers. And I'm not saying this to brag or to sound cool, but what I'm saying is this is a clear example of how you can actually prepare for GCSEs before year 11. In fact, I actually had to prepare a lot earlier than this. I actually finished all of the content by the beginning of year 10, so I had the whole of year 10 to do past papers in order to get ready for my end of year 10 exams, which were my real GCSEs. So you need to get this idea out of your head that it takes all of this time to learn all of the content for GCSE, and then once you learn everything, then you can do past papers. This is all false. What you need to do is learn content as soon as possible, whether that means learning it on your own or getting a tutor to help you. And then once you've learned everything, then you can move straight onto past papers to lock in all of this. Now, if you're still not convinced, let me give you another way to look at this. Now, what GCSEs are, they're an exam that cover all of the content from year 7 all the way up to year 11. So this is 5 years of schooling just to prepare for your GCSE exams. And now what most students do is that they spend 4.5 years learning content, and then half of the year in year 11, or maybe even less than half of the year in year 11, to prepare for their exams. Now, this does seem rather extreme and rather silly that you need this much time of learning content just so that you can go into past paper practice in year 11 so you can prepare for these exams. This is actually quite excessive and quite ridiculous that you need this much time to prepare for your GCSEs. You can actually learn content a lot faster than this, and this is why you see some news articles of year 7 students or year 8 students that have actually done some of their real GCSEs. We even tutored a student last year who was in year 9, and she was in one of our higher GCSE maths classes. And while she was in year 9, she had actually covered all of the GCSE content for maths with us. And when we gave her a year 11 past paper to do, she achieved 77 out of 80, which was a grade 9. Now, by our standards, getting 77 out of 80, which is a grade 9, means that she's ready to do her GCSE exam. Although she didn't choose to take it early, the fact that she's already ready is a big achievement. So I want you to get this idea out of your head that you need all of this time just to prepare for your GCSEs. You clearly don't. So I hope by now you're convinced why this timeline would lead you to get top marks. Just remember, if you follow this, you'll go into year 11 confident and not panicking. You'll be able to master your exam technique, and most importantly, you won't burn out. Don't wait for year 11 to get serious. If you want to get top marks, you should start earlier and be consistent. If you're in year 9 or year 10, this is the perfect time for you to get ahead. And if you are in year 11, well, it's not too late. You just need to focus and work smart. Thanks for watching. If you found it useful, give it a like and consider subscribing. And also share with a friend if you want them to know this secret.